But double check recording. Okay, so request by somebody for the history of Mill Ernest Winfield. Trying to get this iPad to cooperate here. Positional situation. Maybe like that. I don't know. Very difficult to use. Maybe that'll work. Okay, so Mel Ernest Winfield. Okay, the history of meeting him. I think it was summer of '79 or summer of 1980. I was walking down the street with a friend of mine who, actually a transgender person I was with, on Davy Street. Well, Billy Ross and I were walking down, went and knew, oh, what's that? A sign saying Aquarian University Ology Institute lecture. Well, Billy and I went up. Mel was there giving a lecture. We sat down for, I think it was about an hour or so. And they talked about all the wave mechanics and stuff, and I happened to talk about Tesla coils, Tesla disrupted discharge transformer, RF generation, also atomics and electrostatic. So yeah, I get these weird little things that happen. I'm working with this stuff, and he asked me, well, what kind of thing. And I said, metals fall apart and things float around, jump up off a table, or to me it was just nothing really of interest. But then Mel got really interested, and he talked more about field mechanics and that kind of stuff. Then he wanted my address to come over and take a look. I thought, oh, okay, and he gifted me an old Van de Graaff generator, which I had to repair it. Billy Ross is living on Barclay Street. I come from all the way from Lynn Valley to Barclay Street, taking a C bus. One of my mentors was Johnny Cedar, a machinist, an old-timer, Burrard Yarrow Shipyard. He talked about things vanishing in Burrard Yarrow Shipyard. A mysterious effect. Anyway, that was John Cedar, North Vancouver. Anyway, back to Mel Winfield, who then later came over with an old Super 8mm film and a camera. And he introduced himself again, and I said, okay, I'll turn everything on and observe, if you want to. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. That's what I thought at the time, anyway. And he took photos and film and that. Billy Ross and I were sitting down watching him do it, and Billy asked me, well, I wonder why he's doing that, and I said, I don't know. Then he talked a little more and then took off. Wanted to call in friends, which he did do. They came, somebody from CBC came, filmed, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, filmed as well. It's like a good thing for our late night TV mystery show or something like that. I forget, Billy Ross and I were, Now Billy Ross got sort of more interested and sat down and observed too. He wrote up a report. I have the report and Mel Winfield stuff somewhere. But anyway, Mel Winfield got more interested, and I don't know if did I see that on TV? I don't know. Anyway, Mer Winfield then contacted his friends. And for me, I just sort of ignored it like some kind of nut. Mel must be, why is he interested in this stuff? And my parents are going to Acapulco. Requested myself to feed the cats and take care of the house, with Billy Ross stayed with me as well, which we did do. That was 3045 Crescent View Drive, North Vancouver, a long time ago. Summer. Billy and I had a lot of fun. Then all of a sudden, Winfield shows up, phones me. Was the old mutual number? Forget it now. But anyway, he wants to bring somebody over. Which he did do. It was Alex Pizarro. That's how I met Alex Pizarro. My parents' house. They both talked to me, and Alex Pizarro asked me a lot of questions. And I thought, well, it's just vintage energy effects, I'm sure. Like Ben Franklin was able to make bells ring with his electrostatic generator and all this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. Went on and on and on. That time passed, my parents returned from Acapulco, and Billy Ross went back to Barclay Street. I went back to Lynn Valley, and then we'd meet on the weekends. So over time, Pizarro would call in people too, as I remember. In the meantime, Mel was busy organizing funding, from what I gathered later on. Pizarro said, well, Mer Winfield's going to the first International Energy Symposium by George Hathaway. Which Mel did. To me, it was kind of, don't know. So Mel must have showed the videos or pictures and things like that. Then, I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't want to go. And more time passed, nice summer time. I go to Chaos Mod Electrical Machinery and get stuff from them, and because I'm a crazy collector, right? My goal simply was to enjoy exploring vintage radio and Tesla and others. By the way, I met a couple of people that gave me books on Tesla. Not Thomas Lee Richardson, who was Tesla's friend. It was later on in 86 or 85, Thomas Lee Richardson and I connected up. But anyway, back to Mel. So anyway. So Mer Winfield returned, and I said it was all interesting, and so okay. So Pizarro one day came down to Lynn Valley by himself and asked me certain questions about Mer Winfield and how he set me up here with this stuff. I said, no, he never set me up with anything. I just met him on Davie Street. Wow, this is getting into the 80s. I'm trying to remember now. I explained to Pizarro, no, I go to RP Electronics, Satellite Electronics, the Hamshack Electronics, scrapyards, that kind of thing. I'm just interested in vintage stuff and understanding it. Because I had a huge collection at Mrs. Murphy's. So Malcolm was coming around. I remember him walking through the door on a hot, sunny day, and Pizarro let into him like you wouldn't believe. Mel, John, explain to me what's going on here with this. And Pizarro said, I don't want to ever see you again, and that really got Mel going. So introduction, I guess, to George Hathaway, but In the meantime, Mer Winfield got funding from the Undersecretary of Henry Kissinger, about $500,000. He's bragging about it. He kept phoning me all the time. So, well, John, why don't we do something now? I mean, he wanted me to go to him, and it had to involve a lawyer, Joanne McCloskey, my lawyer, R. Flynn Marr, who's going to visit here someday. Saw a lot of chaos going on, and then Pizarro then wanted me to go to Toronto, my first airplane flying. I scared shitless. And somehow I agreed. Pizarro's always happy, laughing all the time. So I get on an airplane. Oh, that's how you get on an airplane. Ticket. You go through this gates thing and upstairs, or through some kind of tunnel thing. I said it was first flight, so they had a flight attendant sitting next to me. Oh, don't worry about anything. It's just odd stuff. When it takes off, you feel different. Sure enough, I loved it. So I arrived and stayed at Hathaway's place and his dad's place. Norman Hathaway, who visited as well, and saw telephone poles flying around. This is later on, actually. Did I move? I can't remember the exact dates, all this stuff, and what happened. Anyway, Hathaway took me on around, showing me Toronto, a museum, some of his lab. Apparently he's replicating some of my stuff. And I still have something I really wanted from Hathaway. It's up on the shelf over here. I never parted with it. Isn't that weird? But anyway, flying back to Vancouver, I was getting, had to move from Lynn Valley, so I got help from that. It took a week for the movers to get it going on moving my stuff to another location. A week, because everything was like, wow, being a collector, take months for this stuff to move anyway. Because I signed an agreement with, through the lawyers, John McCloskey, R. Flynn Marr, my lawyer, for the U.S. government demonstration. 1983 already, wow. So, I signed those documents, I got prepared, they put my stuff in. We did the test at 141 Riverside Drive, North Vancouver. Meanwhile, Mel was trying to bug George Hathaway with his friends. George got weird phone calls, and Mel was really pissed off. I'm trying to stay focused this time. Talking about Mer Winfield. Then Mel wrote a book, The Science of Actuality. As time passed, I met Colonel Alexander and then the Los Alamos team of quite a number of people, actually, from there. And we had a lot of fun in that time. I forget exactly if it was months or weeks or whatever. Then, Tom Bearden phoned me. He was friends with Colonel Alexander. And Tom was kind enough to put me on a program, Reagan Star Wars program. I was assigned to DTIC, where I would get mailings, and I could submit a proposal if they wanted me to. So I was on that to 2005. DTIC, Defense Technical Information Center, a small business innovator program. So Thomas put me on that. I talked to Thomas many times on the phone. He worked at Redstone Nuclear Labs. I think we were in the early 80s already. I'm still with Billy Ross, who moved to 5th Street in Vancouver. So, going on more, I did move and set up another collection, let's call it. It was 3744 East Hastings Street, Burnaby, BC, Canada. And that's where I met Jack Houck and the Canadian government folks, the contractors, and many other people come and film and go vanish or add it to a TV show. And that's where I met Alan Edwards, who filmed me doing the first demo for Public News. I don't know what happened to CBC stuff that Mel had, but anyway. So later on, Mel appeared in Northern Mysteries, The Hutchison Effect. You can look it up online. It's on YouTube if you want to see Mel Winfield. So that's the story of Mel Winfield in a nutshell, sort of. I think he must have passed away. Because after the Pizarro incident, we never talked again. Although he bugged and phoned me. He said, phoned me one day at Billy Ross's place. I'm trying to remember the phone number. 604 something or other, but he's saying the government agents were checking him out and coming into his place looking over his papers because of the incident with the Undersecretary of Henry Kissinger. A lot of the stuff I have in documents and letters and junk. It's going to take somebody forever to go through all that stuff. But as time passed, I'm trying to remember. So I'm going to cut it off. But that's basically intro to Mel's stuff. I can't remember anything else. It's all coming and going and phone calls. And Tommy Bearden. Another fellow came around, Andrea Puharich, who filmed stuff. He talks about it in a YouTube video I just found. Later on, Andrea Puharich got together with Elizabeth Ann Rocher, a very close friend of mine, a scientist lady, who got stuck out in the J.R. Reynolds, the Third Estate. He passed away. She got stuck out there with Andrea Puharich. I contacted William Tiller at Stanford University, who sent checks in. I think Gene Manning was involved somehow, way back there. But anyway, I'll shut up and go on another topic. I tend to wander around. That frustrates people, so. Sunny day. Time to sit out in the sun and get more solar activity and neutrinos. So that's some of the story of Mel Winfield. There's probably other things that I forgot or have to look at letters and documents and stuff, or legal agreements or some stuff. That was interesting times. My mind, see how I free associate, my mind wanders around. There was I wonder a little more. An incident with the Yugoslavian embassy, which called in CS Canadian Security Intelligence Service. I had an interview with them. I forget the gentleman's name who showed up, but I think it probably was related to Winfield. I don't know. They investigated and a matter of national security, all that stuff. So anyway, I'm going to shut up and go on another topic here. It's a lot of fun doing these, I guess.